class, my name is Luis Padilla and I am a junior year U.S. history teacher. The goal for this lesson is to teach students about the economic boom and social transformation of the United States post-World War II. For students who missed class last week, we did our presentations about the U.S. involvement in World War II. If you weren't here last week, don't worry. You will not be required to do your presentation anymore, but I do require you guys to turn in a 2-page essay about your presentation. The rest of this video is going to be for the substitute teacher who's in charge of my classroom while I'm gone. Students will start out the day by writing a short answer to the prompt that will be posted on the board. The prompt will usually be related to what the students have learned the class before. Students will have 10 minutes to finish writing the prompt, and after they are done, they will have the chance to present to the class for extra credit. After students finish their presentations, it's my turn to start lecture. Before lecture starts, I actually pass out a packet containing my PowerPoint presentation, but there's going to be some empty spaces in there. Students will be required to fill in these empty spaces with the words that are missing. I find that it's easier for students to take notes this way, and it helps them concentrate more on the actual lesson. So lecture-wise, I have created a presentation for you. It revolves around Standard 11.8. This standard states that students will analyze the economic boom and social transformation of the United States post-World War II. So this presentation that I created for you should be around 40 minutes long. After you finish with the presentation, students will split off into groups. While in groups, I will give them a short handout to complete while they were in their groups. After they finish the handout, they will be required to discuss their answers with their other group mates. After students have finished their page, they will be required to exchange information and ideas with others through oral collaborative discussions and a range of social and academic topics. The second activity that I usually have my students do is to pull out their index cards. Index cards are very important in a history class because it allows the student to write the word and then the definition on the back side of the card. I also make my students draw a picture on the back of the index cards related to the definition of the word. I feel like it's a little bit easier for the students to remember something if they draw it as well. Up next, I will show a quick 1-minute video from the Thomas Franke YouTube channel on how to make effective index cards.
And the first tip I've got for you is to add pictures to your cards and mix them up with words. Now, in cognitive psychology, there's a principle called the picture superiority effect, which describes how people remember images and pictures much better than they do words. And from an evolutionary standpoint, this makes sense. Written language is just a system of arbitrary symbols that people made up, and when we look at things on a grand scale, it really hasn't been around for all that long. Plus, our brains are adapted to be very sensitive to imagery. The locations of food, the animals that'll think you're food, the animals that won't think you're food but will still completely mess you up, etc. By adding pictures to your flashcards, you can make them a lot more memorable. And personally, I like to do this by drawing on my flashcards, but you can also just print out pictures from the internet and glue them on, or if you're using an app or a computerized flashcard program, a lot of them will allow you to easily import pictures. But you can take this one step further by making sure those pictures are next to words. In 1985, there was a study done in Canada that showed that descriptive sentences added next to pictures made those pictures much easier for people to recall. Now, if you take a look at my chemistry flashcards here, you might think they look a little bit weird, but that's actually on purpose.
As you can see, drawing on index cards is very important because it helps students remember what they are writing. At the end of class, students are required to turn in the worksheet that they have been working on during class. At the end of class, I give my students a few minutes to ask me any questions related to the topic that we have learned today. Homework-wise, students will be required to create a short 5-minute presentation discussing on how World War II affected the U.S. economy. Before my students walk out the door, I like asking them questions related to the topic that we have learned today. I believe that this is a good idea because students will know that the questions are coming, so they will focus on the actual lesson instead of being distracted on their phones or just thinking of something else. Okay, so this is going to be everything for our lesson today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this lesson and learned something new today. If you guys have any questions, please contact me at lpadilla1177@mail.fresnostate.edu. Thank you.